June 22nd, we have Mercury going direct in Gemini in his place of power at 16 degrees. So a little bit of a recap. Mercury went retrograde on the 29th of May, essentially shutting down our mental planes. We are not thinking clearly. We're not thinking logically. We can't process information in the way that we would like. We are not methodical in our plans. Our plans have actually been scrapped. They've been thrown out the window. Why? Because new information has been revealed that has changed the game and changed the script. And with Mercury being retrograde, again, analogy, he was at the wheel, he was the captain, and then he got drugged and he fell asleep and he's unconscious. So now we set him up in the back. He's all comfy. He's back there with Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto all in a retrograde. They're all drugged. They're all, muttering incoherent thoughts that will eventually trigger us into aha moments of revelations. But until they come out of their retrograde, our heart and our soul is at the driver's wheel, and we are riding this bitch all through these karmic ups and downs, and we are having to listen to our heart space instead of our intellect. So Mercury wakes up. He wakes up at 16 degrees, which means he has to retrace his steps, refresh himself with all of the things that have transpired while he's been drugged in the backseat. And it's going to take 2 weeks for him to be completely clear of the drugs, for him to be clearly thinking, confidently thinking back to his 100% power of the intellect. So now that Mercury goes direct, we have a little bit of clarity. We have a little bit of a knowing of what it is that we have to rearrange and work on, take charge of in our exterior realms to match the aha moments that we've had while Mercury was asleep. We get a huge opportunity to clean up some of the messes that were likely made by hurtful things being said while he was incoherent and muttering through his unconscious daydreams in the back seat. We all heard it. We all knew that we had to let bygones be bygones, because there's no point in arguing with someone who is unconscious and not aware of what he's saying. So there is a cleanup period, and that is the 2 weeks that it takes in order for Mercury to get full steam up to power and moving forward. That being said, be very cautious. Be very cautious, because we're still not seeing things clearly. We're still not fully informed. Plans will continue to change very abruptly. New information is going to be leaking in. It's almost like, sometimes you have a really profound dream. You wake up the next day and you know that it was profound. You get little bits and pieces of clarity, of remembrance of what the dream was about. And for the most part, you couldn't put it into words if somebody paid you to do so. Then all of a sudden, a week goes by and bam, you get a flashback of that particular dream, and suddenly it all makes sense. Well, this is very, very close to what we experience with Mercury coming out of a retrograde and going direct. The good news is that we get to go on in life. We get to take steps forward, but they're baby steps, and we're very cautiously taking those baby steps. So yes, Mercury in his place of power in Gemini, ruling over the mental plane. New perspectives are emerging. New information is being processed. New ways of thinking is now kind of opening up to us, because we had a lot of revelations while we were asleep, essentially. And so now that we get to move into the front seat and say to the heart space and say to the soul space, okay, I'm ready to drive again. Our heart is like, nope, you need to wait 2 weeks. We're still navigating these seas here. We're still under some karmic influences. You can be a passenger. You can speak to me. You can start piecing things together and ask questions. But right now, I'm still the driver of this rig. So that being said, we do look forward to Mercury going direct, but we do still have to be cautious for that 2 week shadow period until we are safe and until we are clear.